Okay, so first things first, you need to remove the battery and the memory card. This gives you access to the two clips to start you off, removing the front panel. I'll show them in a minute. Okay, so there's the two clips. You can use a pry tool or just put some pressure on that clip there, the first clip. So once you've made a start, you can go to the pry tool. I have a ton of these laying around when I work on mobile phones, so they're cheap. You can find them on eBay toolkits. It makes light work of getting this off. So you're releasing those other tabs and it doesn't damage the camera. So now there's 4 screws to remove, as you can see here. Just put them to one side. Okay, so this is the tricky part. So I needed to get some space there to put the pry tool in, so I put a little bit of pressure on the PCB on a clear point, and it gave me enough clearance to get that in, and just used the pry tool and released it. Released the touchscreen. Be careful when you're at this stage not to pull that screen too far off the back, because you've got 2 ribbon cables. They need to be released first. I'll show you the ribbon cables in a second. Okay, so that touchscreen is now released. Be careful of those 2 ribbons. There you see the 2 ribbons, got a large one and a small ribbon. The large one is held in by a clip. Be careful when you're doing the clip, you don't want to break that clip. Just go steady, take your time. So now the clip should be up any second now. So that ribbon's released. The smaller one, you see the clip there, I'm showing the clip. The smaller one, I just use some long nose pliers, flat pliers, just medium pressure. Now that's out. You can see the main PCB. So to release this PCB, it's quite tight in there. Just put some pressure on from the front and gradually ease it out. The hardest part is getting the connections past the body of the camera. You can flex that a little bit to get it out. You've also got that speaker still in place, so be careful not to yank that out. That's just held in by double-sided adhesive, so get the pry tool again, just release it. Okay, so that's released. It will come out now. So, yeah, we've got that out. That's the internal mic. To remove it, what I normally do is just add a bit more solder, reflow both of those connections, pins. So I'm just adding a bit more solder to those and use tweezers, a little bit of pressure, and then just release it. So I've already soldered one wire for ground. I'm just adding some non-clean flux, just helps the solder connections. The solder is a lot more smoother when it flows. Here I'm just putting some isopropanol on, just to clean up the PCB. Just brushing it down really. I'll be adding some hot glue on this connections. Okay, so here I'm using a male GAST. To release these connectors, you need to push down the metal tabs, as you can see here, then they'll release the clips. So So those metal tabs need to be raised back up so they lock back into place after you've finished soldering to those. I'm using a smaller gauge wire, not the original wire which comes with these, so you don't have to mod the case in any way or drill it. You can use the holes for the internal mic. So here I'm just soldering the connectors. So I've cut down to where the old wire is finished, so that connectors push back in neatly and hide the actual solder joint. As you can see here, I'm just making sure they're going back in and locking it back into place, just doing a test so they're secure. This is the finished mod, so you've got the male JST, and I've already got the cable I made up for my old camera. So it's a female JST to a female 3.5mm jack. As you can see there's the female jack. If you want to see that cable made, or how I made it, then comment below. It's quite easy. And you can use any mic you want after this. It's just a cheap eBay mic. The sound is coming up a sound test, so stay tuned at the end of this. So let me show you how you can still use everything without any drilling or filing down. So even with that cable on, because I've used a smaller gauge wire, it can still go into the case and close up, no issues. There's enough clearance there for that. Also, if you still want to use the case and change over the back, I'm now going to change over the back to the one with the slots in. It's pretty easy, it just pushes on. There's a hinge there, and you can feed the wire through the slot, the JST, and still have your generic mic. So if you went off-road and you want to keep the camera clean, you could still plug in the mic and use the case. So that's the advantage of using my mod the way I do it. Okay, so this is a mic test, the internal mic. I'm actually speaking quite close to it. This is further away, arm's length. Mic test. Mic test. Okay, so this is what it sounds like. What do you think? I think it sounds better than the internal mic.